Gain 5 life. Don't mind if I do. Back up to 8, ladies and gents. Ooh. Okay. 8 is much safer than 3. Greetings, everyone. I am glad to be here, and I am glad that you are here. Today, we're going on another journey. I love Journey to Eternity. And this card, just any excuse to play it, it's just a good time. Really solid green-black value. When enchanted creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control. Then return Journey to Eternity transformed under your control as well. So, if you enchant, let's say Neverwinter Dryad, then sacrifice Neverwinter Dryad to get your basic forest. Neverwinter Dryad comes right back, so you can sacrifice it again if you want. But then you also get the other side of Journey to Eternity as Katal. Cave of Eternity taps to add 1 of any color, but you can also pay 5 mana and tap this. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And notice this does not say activate as a sorcery. It can be done at any time. So, yeah, folks, we're trying to abuse this as best we can. We've got some Mire Tritons in here, which are a little bit innocuous, but they fill the bin. So when it enters, gain 2 life, mill 2 cards. So the gaining 2 life, having Death Touch is kind of good in matchups like, you know, whatever, mono red and stuff. Just gaining a couple of life and then trading with a creature is good. But notably puts cards into the bin so that we can reanimate them with Journey to Eternity. But again, Death Touch in most matchups, you're trading. So at the very least, getting Journey to Eternity on this, very good. Of course, Llanowar Elves, I don't think you need to defend. I want to cast a 3-drop. Here, have yourself a Llanowar Elves, maybe cast it on too, right? So that's there. Neverwinter Dryad, of course, again, as I already mentioned, it sacrifices itself, because one of the problems with Journey to Eternity is what happens if you can't sacrifice or get rid of the creature. If the creature doesn't die, or your opponent doesn't block it, or your opponent doesn't attack, so it doesn't die in combat, and you don't have a way to sacrifice it, right? Well, okay, so Neverwinter Dryad sacrifices. Plaguecrafter comes in and can allow you to sacrifice. Notably, if Plaguecrafter is on the battlefield and you Journey to Eternity onto it and then can get rid of it, Plaguecrafter comes back. When Plaguecrafter is in the bin, you can keep reanimating it with Azkatal to then sacrifice itself and just put your opponent on the abyss. Every single turn, they've got to sacrifice a creature or planeswalker or discard a card. Then, obviously, some Maelstrom Pulse. We're in green-blacks. Very good. Padding the land count a little bit with Agadeem's Awakening, but also, since we're graveyard-based and we have small creatures, getting some Agadeem's Awakening value, not outside the question either. Then, obviously, we're Thragtusk deck because we want to return things from the graveyard to the battlefield, and we're greedy, right? Love it! But then, Ravenous Chupacabra, one of the better creatures in this deck. It's a 4-mana 2/2. Pretty underwhelming stats, but when it enters, destroy target creature and opponent controls. So, every time this dies, Journey to Eternity, bring it right back, bring it right back, bring it right back. So similar to the Plaguecrafter loop, this is just, it can really put your opponent in a bad spot. Similarly, Vraska is both removal, destroy target non-land permanent, 3 mana value or less, but also, +2, you may sacrifice another permanent. So you sacrifice whatever is holding Journey to Eternity. For your trouble, you gain a life and draw a card, which is kind of nice. Then flip Journey to Eternity, which is exactly the point of this deck, and you get the creature back, because that's what Journey to Eternity's front side does, is return the creature to the battlefield, right? So very, very cool. Then there's a 1 of Great Henge for drawing cards, you know, really taking off. Once this hits the battlefield, you can really, really take off, go crazy. You have a bunch of really, really good value. Obviously, if you're returning things from the graveyard to the battlefield, then even if they're not good things, like pay 5 mana, get a Llanowar Elves. Well, technically 6, because you also tap the Azkatal, right? The Azkatal is a land, so you tap it and 5, so 6 mana. Get back Llanowar Elves! But it's not the end of the world. When you have Great Henge down, you draw another card, right? You know, and put a counter on it, and, you know, probably chump block with it, and then try it again next turn, you know? So definitely helps. And then, of course, Turntimber Symbiosis, similarly, helping pad the land count. We desperately need to get to slamming our 3-drop and then, you know, probably following it up with a 4-drop. But we're only on 22 lands because this is kind of where we're at, you know, is the main bulk of the deck is right here. that's why we're running these as spells, because 24 feels a little awkward sometimes, given this shell, because we're also trying to get up to 5. So sometimes you're like, yeah, but maybe 25 or maybe even 26, because hitting Thragtusk on curve can be really important in some matchups like Burn and stuff. But, like, you know, there's also a good chance of flooding when you're on 26 lands, right? So, again, padding the land count here with spells, definitely exactly what the doctor ordered in this case. So, without further ado, folks, let's go ahead and head out to the games. If you wouldn't mind, though, clicking a like and subscribe here. It really, really helps the channel. Just, you know, really trying to get things off the ground, and I would appreciate your help with that. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We are here, and we're up against Alex Puckett. Good luck, Alex Puckett. Yeah, you know, it's a great hand, I think. We're gonna hang on to it. See if we can make this thing, or give this thing a go, so to speak. Opponent on the mulligan. That's okay. Down comes a Mountain and a Soulscar Mage. We're gonna start on a Blooming Marsh and Neverwinter Dryad. Pass the turn right on back to Alex Puckett. No turn 2 play. Unless we sacrifice the Neverwinter Dryad, which I think we are likely to do. Opponent might just kill it, though. Light Up Stage finds a Mountain and a Play with Fire. Nope, it's another Soulscar Mage. Fair enough. Yeah, folks. That was a punt. Darn it. I was supposed to wait and block, and I did not do that thing. Jeez Louise, that was not my best moment, folks. Opponent shocks our face. Has a pair of 2/3 Soulscar Mages. Golly gee. This is not looking great. Skewer the critics as well. Jeez. Soulscar Mages. 3/4s. Both of them. And they get in, dropping our life total down to 8. This is inconvenient. At the highest level. Ravenous Chupacabra, come on down. Eat that Soulscar Mage. And pass. Your go, Alex Puckett. We are in trouble. Beaumont Courier, come on down. Gets in with Soulscar Mage. No blocks. We take 1 3 damage burn spell on our face. Or is it Light Up the Stage? Neither. Okay. Alright, Vraska, Golgari, Queen, come on down. We are absolutely just going to take down on the Soulscar Mage right now. Not going to fool around. And we're going to get down Agadeem the Undercrypt as well. Because Thragtusk being able to gain us 5 life, very, very, very good. We just need to live through this turn. It is possible we're supposed to, like, bolt ourselves to get the Thragtusk in. Because that would be a net gain of 2 life. But I think we're still more likely to lose in that scenario. We really need the whole 5 life to come through. So we just need to survive this turn. We need to have both of these not be able to kill us this turn. Which they shouldn't be able to, because we'll let the Beaumont Courier through. We'll block the Gitu Lava Runner. So that'll be 1 damage. Then even if one of these is a 3 damage burn spell, we'll still be at 1. Thragtusk come down. Hopefully rescue us. We're right on the wire, folks. Man, I wish I had not. That was kind of a vicious punt. We were supposed to be able to block with the Neverwinter Dryad there, right on turn 2. And I got over eager, and boy, oh boy, did that punish us. Okay, all 3 coming in at us. No, okay. 2 coming at us, 1 going at Vraska. Sure. No? I'm thinking about it. 2 at us. 1 at Vraska. All right. We drop to 3. Vraska goes away. Well, Thragtusk. Come on down. Gain 5 life. Don't mind if I do. Back up to 8. Ladies and gents. Ooh. Okay. 8 is much safer than 3. You know, 8 is much safer than 3. What we would really like is to get this Journey to Eternity onto our Thragtusk. Oh boy, man, I hope we don't lose for our punch, you know? Alright. We're gonna take 1 extra damage here and block the Beaumont Courier. Alright. Down to 6. Scries to the bottom. Pops the Beaumont Courier. Does. Another Soulscar Mage goes away. We drop to 4. Land. Untapped land. Pillar of Flame. Untapped land? No. Okay, well, that's not the end of the world. Okay. So, Mire Triton, come on down. That gains us 2 life. Journey to Eternity can go on Thragtusk. Next turn, we can Plaguecrafter, sacrifice the Thragtusk. No attacks. We would love to attack, but we can't attack. Another Gate 2 Lava Runner come on down. Sure. They get in with both? No, they do not get in with both. That would be silly. Our opponent agrees. Plaguecrafter, come on down. We're going to sacrifice that Thragtusk, believe it or not. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we will. 5 life, come on in. And, yep, Alex Puckett scoops them up. Oh, thank heavens, folks. Oh, my goodness. Even despite my punt, that was an embarrassing punt. Jeez Louise, that's what you get for being a little over-eager. But definitely glad we got there. So, GG, opponent, GG. All right, folks. Well, I mean, we've got turn 1 Llanowar. Who can ask for more than that, right? Opponent goes with Speaker of Heavens. Well, shoot. Maybe we should have asked for a turn 1 Speaker of Heavens. You know, maybe that's what we should ask for. And as Johnny's Pride Mate, we'll trade. You got it. Doesn't feel good, but we definitely don't want that card getting out of hand either. So we're gonna just go ahead. Mire Triton, come on down. Gain a couple of life. But more importantly, have a Death Touch threat in. We will obviously trade with the Johnny's Pride Mate, if given the opportunity. Our opponent may not grant us that opportunity. But we have other removal options on the way for it, so it's not a big deal. There's a strong possibility we were supposed to run out the Llanowar Elves, but we elected not to. Sure enough, opponent has the Heliod. That's inconvenient. Would not say I care for that. That being indestructible is quite annoying indeed. Well, Llanowar Elves, number 2. Come on down. Society at 21 life. 4 cards in hand. A board of Heliod and Linden. Heliod gets in. No attacks. Counter goes on to Linden. Counter goes on to Johnny's Pride Mate. We will not block. Thank you. Okay. Well, that's a good one. So I guess we're just going to Chupacabra away the Linden, because that card is absolutely the worst kind of thing. We dislike Linden a great deal. A great deal. Healer's Hawk coming on down. Sure. Leonin Vanguard comes down as well. Counter. Going on the Hawk. Sure. Alright. Oh, that's a good one. But for now, we're just going to Journey to Eternity on the Ravenous Chupacabra. No attacks. Hang on for dear life, as it were. Next turn, we can Vraska plus to sacrifice the Chupacabra and kill something. Opponent goes to combat. Healer's Hawk gets in. It's 3 damage directly onto our noggin. We drop to 14. Opponent goes up to 27. Counter goes on to Healer's Hawk. Counter goes on to Ajani's Pride Mate. Passes the turn. Fair enough. Vraska Golgari Queen, come on down. Yes. We will. Plus. Gain a life, draw a card, sacrifice a Ravenous Chupacabra. Journey to Eternity, going to return to the battlefield flipped. And Thragtusk to our hand. It is going to be the Healer's Hawk, going the way of the Dodo in this case. And then we're going to follow it up with a Neverwinter Dryad onto the battlefield. Gives us a good chump blocker there if necessary. No attacks. We are just trying to weather this proverbial storm. A Ajani Strength of Pride coming down. Indeed. Opponent gains some life, gets a counter. Counter goes on to Pridemate. Counter goes on to Pridemate. Heliod goes in at Vraska. Nay, I say. Nay. We block. Is it a land? It is a land, so that's good. We're going to go ahead and pay the life there because it's going to be a Maelstrom Pulse from us and a Maelstrom Pulse again from us. We are going to plus sacrificing Ravenous Chupacabra. It's a land. Don't mind if I do. We're going to hang on for now. Land of Vanguard. Alone on the battlefield, but Ajani's Strength of Pride going to join Leon of Vanguard. Still no creature does not attack. All right, fair enough. Well, then, in that case, we're going to, let's see, minus, kill that, Azkatal, bring back Chupi, hit the Pridemate, and 3 damage onto Strength of Pride. Pass the turn back over to Saiti, and Saiti scooping him up. Ladies and gentlemen, now, and of course, again, for those of you who did not see the writing on the wall, very, very quickly here, I will explain. Vraska can +2, sacrifice another permanent. If you do, gain a life, draw a card. Our opponent's deck is almost entirely built around having creatures on the board to gain life and, you know, get aggressive. So, we sacrifice Ravenous Chupacabra every single turn. We can gain a life, draw a card, bring Ravenous Chupacabra back from the graveyard with Azkatal, Cave of Eternity, pay 5 mana, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So just every turn, we get to Ravenous Chupacabra, whatever it is that they cast. Eventually, Vraska will get to the ultimate, will -9 that turn, and then attack with multiple creatures. And it doesn't matter what our opponent's life total is. They could be at 50, 100, 200. And Vraska's ultimate says, you get an emblem. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game on the spot. So our opponent was pretty much locked out of the game. GG indeed. All right, folks. Here we are. Taking a journey. Turn 1 Llanowar. How do you argue with that, right? Not going to shock in. You know, it might still come to that, but there's no guarantee. You know, we might draw a swamp or whatever, right? So, oh, crud. Harmonic Prodigy is terrifying. Well, we're going to shock in. We do not want anything to do with that. Harmonic Prodigy is one of the scarier cards in the format, if you ask me. We do need to draw a land, though. Please, land. Opponent has Burning Tree Emissary. Another Burning Tree Emissary. Good lord, folks. We are glad we got rid of that Harmonic Prodigy. Our opponent was going to go off. Holy cow. Jeez Louise, folks. Alright, I guess. Woe Strider, come on down. Neverwinter Dryad, come on down. And just hang on. I mean, maybe for dear life, but hang on. Next turn we can... Oh my goodness, folks. We are just absolutely thrilled we got rid of that Harmonic Prodigy. Holy cats. This would have been a blowout. Our opponent gets another Harmonic Prodigy, though, so we've got to handle that. Seasoned Pyromancer comes in, has 2 of those triggers, gets rid of a Collected Company and a land. Gets rid of a pair of Rage Forgers. Well, we're glad they discarded all of that stuff, folks. All of it. Yeah, well, we're going to block. Block. Sacrifice the goat. Overgrown Tomb. Okay. I think we do want a land here. Because we need to be able to kill this Harmonic Prodigy, I think. But we would also like some blockers. Just in case things get nasty.
Before I make you disappear.
Yep. Well, okay. Elvish Visionary coming on down again this time, but just draws one card. Thank heavens. We got rid of the other Harmonic Prodigy, folks. That, whew. Feel like we're kind of dodging a bullet there. Just one card in the bin, eh? Yep. Straight at our noggin? Or are these going at Vraska? Okay. So we're going to block here. Here. Yeah. And get a scry off this Neverwinter Dryad, I guess. The Great Henge. Do we want that? Yes, we do. Alright, block. Damage happens. We drop to 10.
Pity we couldn't have been allies.
Our turn. We could slam the Great Henge right now, but I think we're better off doing this. Gaining 5 life. Agadeem the Undercrypt. Enters tapped. Hang on, folks. We're still just hanging on. Hey. Goblin Ruin Blaster. Okay, that's not cool. We're not overly happy about that, but it's not the end of the world either. The Great Henge, as long as the Thragtusk stays alive, the Great Henge can come down next turn. All right. The team comes in. Sure. So we're going to block. No. Block. Block. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. All right. Down to 6. Our turn. Hey. The Great Henge comes down, gains us a life. Journey to Eternity off the top. Going to gain us 5 more life. Collected Company. Oh, crud, please say we're not just dead. Okay, okay. All right, that is not the end of the world. I mean, you know, that I would not say we're thrilled about this turn of events, but, you know, this is fine. All right, opponent discards a land, gets a Den of the Bugbear. Let's see, do we want... You know what? Let's do this right now, because we get a 3/3. Gain a life, draw a card, put a counter on. Yes, Maelstrom Pulse, sign me up. All right. So... All right. All right, so we didn't want to screw this up because we were very, very close. So I was going to the thing to make sure. Like, the question I was asking myself is Woe Strider expendable here? I think the answer is yes, right? Because we can just bring it back or whatever. The question is whether or not we want to be sacrificing Thragtusk instead, just to bring it back. So I think rather than it being truly expendable, I think we would go ahead and keep it around, just because even though it is expendable in this case, we don't need it to win. The Thragtusk just dying and coming back just provides infinite value, draws us a bunch of cards every time it enters. But then, remember, as Katal Cave of Eternity, return target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. So, you know, just continually getting Thragtusk back very, very good here. So I think the blocks were going to be Woe Strider on a 1/1. Kill off, yeah, I guess, Seasoned Pyromancer, Ruin Blaster, then, you know, hold up Maelstrom Pulse for the Burning Tree Emissaries if it ever came to that, but we were likely to just keep going through the Thragtusk loop and ruining our opponent's day. So either way, though, GG. GG. It was a good game. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Those were some wild games, I'm telling you. That was a lot of fun. Admittedly, I feel like we kind of, you know, drew the short end of the straw on the one game, just drew very poorly, and then the other game we drew control, and this deck's matchup against Jeskai control not very good, right? And like we also went up against the mono brown deck, and they got both Ugin and Ulamog, and we had stabilized. We basically were going to win, and we drew poorly for a couple of minutes, and then we drew the Plaguecrafter to make them sacrifice all their stuff, and we weren't dead to the Ulamog's attack, except for the fact that they finished milling us. So, like, you know, it's just a really disappointing set of circumstances there. But we still went 3-3, so exactly at 50%. No, I don't think this is the next deck to break the meta. But if you are looking to have a good time and get your wins, I do think this is a reasonable deck. I would not be ashamed to bring this into ranked at all. As a matter of fact, we did. It is, and it's a really good time. A really good time. Can't encourage it enough. As far as some different things you might do, you might tweak your 3-drops a little bit here in favor of some 2s. Again, Maelstrom Pulse, very, very important in being able to remove non-land permanents, but maybe we could do with some 2-drops. You'll be tempted to say, well, Assassin's Trophy. Why not Assassin's Trophy? I'm skeptical on Assassin's Trophy, specifically for this deck, because we're a little bit slow moving, and we're trying to flip the Journey to Eternity, right? So when you Assassin's Trophy something in the early to mid game and just give them another land, that gets them ahead of you on tempo. Late in the game, it's not a big deal. Assassin's Trophy is just great. But earlier in the game, it's not outside their own possibilities to need a Maelstrom Pulse on 3, right? So, I don't know. It might be worth a try, but I would be inclined to maybe do something else. Maybe pull, let's say, 2 Maelstrom Pulse for just some generic 2-mana removal. Maybe Power Word Kill or, Heartless Act or something like that. It's also possible, folks, that you just want, like, Languish, perhaps. Board wipes just aren't that bad for us, since we're intending to bring a bunch of stuff back from the graveyard anyway. So maybe a couple of Languishes might be just what the doctor ordered. It would at least help your matchups in, let's say, like, Elves and Goblins and stuff. So, absolutely worth considering. I wouldn't probably go Cry the Carnarium. You don't really want to be exiling our stuff, right? But, definitely worth considering. As far as the rest of it, honestly, it was a great time. I again, would not mind bringing this into ranked, and I would encourage you to do so as well. Either way, folks, I appreciate you, and I will catch you next time.